Iran carried out chilling attacks on several United States military installations across the Middle East on March 30. In retaliation for the killing of IRGC Navy Chief Rear Admiral Alireza Tangsiri. As part of the 87th wave of Operation True Promise 4, Iran's powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed it targeted U.S. military bases in Bahrain, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. In a statement, the IRGC said it targeted locations linked to commanders of the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, according to Press TV. The IRGC's Public Relations Department added that the Navy destroyed 4 gathering sites and facilities belonging to the United States and Israel through strong and rapid strikes. The IRGC described the operation as a coordinated attack carried out by intelligence and operational units. In Bahrain, drones reportedly struck areas just outside the main compound while commanders were holding a meeting. In the United Arab Emirates, an ally of both the U.S. and Israel, the IRGC said precision missiles were used to destroy a U.S. command and control center located outside Al Minhad Air Base. According to the claim, more than 200 mid-ranking American officers were present at the time of the strike. Saudi Arabia, another key U.S. ally in the region, was also targeted. The IRGC said warning radars used to guide F-16 warplanes were hit outside a military base. Separately, an Israeli-owned container ship, Express Room, was also struck in missile attacks carried out by the IRGC Navy, according to the statement. The IRGC dedicated the operation to Rear Admiral Tangsiri, who was killed in joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on March 26th. Fars news agency reported that Tangsiri will be buried in Abadan, in Khuzestan province. His funeral will be held in the city's main square, and he will be laid to rest in the main cemetery. According to Israeli sources, Tangsiri was killed in a strike that also targeted senior naval officers. The IRGC announced his death on March 30, stating that he died due to the severity of his injuries. A veteran commander, Tangsiri played a key role in shaping Iran's naval doctrine, particularly in the strategic Strait of Hormuz, and was instrumental in developing maritime drone capabilities.
Iran has intensified attacks on high-value U.S. military targets across the Middle East. After reportedly destroying 2 KC-135 refueling aircraft and an E-3 AWACS aircraft in Saudi Arabia, the Iranian military has now inflicted heavy damage on U.S. military infrastructure in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet. The U.S. base in the Sheikh Issa area of Bahrain is the latest American facility to come under attack. According to reports, Iran destroyed an ammunition and equipment depot at the site. Satellite imagery shows visible destruction in before and after images. Reports also say several U.S. P-8 surveillance aircraft hangars were struck. The satellite images show significant damage, with roofs blown apart in the attack. Another image shows destruction at a radar maintenance and repair hangar at the Sheikh Issa U.S. Air Base in Bahrain. Additional visuals reveal the roof of a drone hangar completely destroyed, with extensive damage clearly visible. Bahrain, located just 768 kilometers from Iran, has emerged as one of the worst-hit targets in Tehran's retaliation for U.S.-Israeli strikes. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps said the attacks targeted industrial and military infrastructure linked to U.S. forces in the Gulf states. Its proximity to Iran makes Bahrain a vulnerable target, despite a heavy U.S. military presence and advanced air defense systems. On March 29th, the IRGC said it carried out missile and drone strikes on aluminum facilities in Bahrain. Aluminum Bahrain confirmed that 2 employees were injured in the attack on one of the world's largest aluminum smelting facilities. In a statement carried by Iran's semi-official Mehr news agency, the IRGC claimed the facilities were linked to the American military. Meanwhile, Iran had earlier issued an ultimatum to hotel owners in Bahrain, warning that hosting U.S. military personnel could make their properties legitimate military targets, according to the semi-official Fars news agency. Fars reported that U.S. forces have taken refuge in hotels across the region following Iranian missile strikes and coordinated attacks by allied groups targeting American military infrastructure. The report added that U.S. personnel have established a presence at civilian locations, including a logistics base near the old airport. Last week, Iran's foreign minister, Sayed Abbas Araghchi, warned hotels in Gulf countries against accommodating U.S. troops, accusing them of fleeing military bases and using civilian sites as cover. From the outset of this war, U.S. soldiers fled military bases in the Gulf Cooperation Council to hide in hotels and offices. They are using GCC citizens as human shields, Araghchi wrote on social media platform X.
Iran has delivered a significant blow to the USS Air Power following a series of coordinated missile and drone strikes on American bases in the Middle East. According to reports, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps targeted Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on March 27th, hitting one of the most critical U.S. military installations in the region. The strike is said to have destroyed at least one E-3 Sentry airborne warning and control system, along with 3 KC-135 Stratotanker refueling aircraft, marking a serious setback for U.S. aerial surveillance and logistics capabilities. The loss of an E-3 AWACS aircraft is being described as unprecedented, given its role as a flying command center that tracks threats, manages airspace, and coordinates combat operations across vast distances. The damage is reportedly linked to an Iranian ballistic missile and drone strike on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia a day earlier. Based on the images that are viral, the rear section of the aircraft, housing the rotating radar dome, seems to have sustained the most severe impact. This section contains critical systems, including antennas associated with the E-3's AN/PY2 surveillance radar. However, the extent of the damage and the circumstances of the strike have not been independently verified. Valued at nearly $500 million, the aircraft is among the most expensive and strategically vital assets in the U.S. Air Force. Initial reports indicate that at least 10 U.S. airmen were wounded in the attack, although the actual number could be higher, reflecting the intensity of the strike. In fact, AP reports that the number of injured exceeds 24. This development comes amid a wider Iranian campaign targeting U.S. and allied military infrastructure across the region. In the weeks since the war began on February 28th, Iran has reportedly struck at least 17 U.S. military facilities, with a clear focus on radar systems that are crucial for detecting and intercepting incoming missiles. Among the most significant losses were high-value radar installations in Qatar, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates, worth billions of dollars, severely weakening the region's defensive network. The destruction of the E-3 aircraft further compounds this challenge, limiting the U.S. ability to compensate for damaged ground-based radar with airborne surveillance. Before the escalation, the United States had already deployed a large portion of its E-3 fleet to the Middle East and Europe, increasing patrols over key areas, including Jordan, northern Saudi Arabia, southern Iraq, and the eastern Mediterranean. These aircraft were tasked with tracking Iranian missile and drone launches, providing early warning to U.S. forces and regional allies. However, despite heavy air defense deployments, particularly over Israel, Iranian strikes have reportedly achieved a growing success rate, with some estimates suggesting up to 80% of missiles are now reaching their targets. Experts say this is partly due to the systematic degradation of radar networks across the region, reducing early detection and interception capabilities. The loss of a key airborne radar platform like the E-3 is expected to further tilt the balance, potentially increasing the effectiveness of future Iranian attacks. This is not the first time high-value aircraft have been hit. Earlier strikes on the same Saudi base had already damaged multiple U.S. refueling aircraft, while a separate attack reportedly destroyed a UAE-operated airborne surveillance aircraft. Now, analysts believe the U.S. may be forced to reposition critical aircraft further away from the region, potentially impacting response times and operational effectiveness. As the conflict intensifies, this latest strike highlights a shifting battlefield, where advanced missiles and drones are increasingly capable of targeting even the most sophisticated military platforms.